A small kirtan, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Gaurangi Bengalurishwara Gaurangi Bengalurishwara Gaurangi Jaya Jaya Nata Jaya Paladeva Jaya Shubhadra Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta De Prahlad Narasimha Jaya Ananta De Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnu Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotra Sadasya Srimad Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotra Sadasya Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrajabhumi Shri Vrindavana Dhami ki jai. Mayapur Shri Navadvipa Dhami ki jai. Mathura Dhami ki jai. Dwaraka Dhami ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dhami ki jai. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Hari Om Tat Sat. So welcome devotees, Hare Krishna. So today we are supposed to discuss fourth canto, chapter 25. And the title, the chapter's name is The Descriptions of the Characteristics of King Puranjana. So this background is, of course, that discussion between Maitreya Muni and Vidura Mahatma, where Vidura Mahatma is taking instructions from Maitreya Muni, and they are discussing about the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. So we are in that kind of a section where we will see now what happened. They are particularly talking about down the line, Dhruva Maharaj down the line descendants. They are discussing about the important personalities. There they are going to be discussing about one of the descendants, their sons, and that particular descendants a meeting with Narada Muni and Narada Muni's instructions to that devotee. So let's see that. A very interesting chapter, very amazing. This could be made into a nice drama also actually. Let's see how it is. So it starts like this. I will read the first one in Sanskrit, then we will go only with the translation for the rest of the thing. We are doing the first part of this 25th chapter. Maitreya uvacha iti sandishya bhagavan barhi sadhair abhipujitaha pashyatam raja putranam tatraivat Date hare haraha. The translation is like this. The great sage Maitreya continued, speaking to Vidura. My dear Vidura, in this way Lord Shiva instructed the sons of King King Barhishta. The sons of the king also worshipped Lord Shiva with great devotion and respect. Finally, Lord Shiva became invisible to the princess. So here the situation is this Barhishta, he is the descendant from the Dhruva Maharaj lineage, and was a great monarch, a great royal family, heritage that he has inherited. And he naturally, Prabhupada is writing, so he sent his son to perform austerities in order to become a perfect king for the welfare of the citizens of the country they are governing. So he sent his sons, and whatever they have done in their previous lives, when they were in trying to start their austerities, they had darshan of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was so merciful that it's not easy to see Lord Shiva. People perform tapasya for many, many years, thousands of years, but not easy to see. And he does not normally come down to, it's like these kind of incarnations. He does not come very often. Very rarely he comes to this material world. But somehow these boys were very blessed that they could actually take darshan of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave him wonderful instructions about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So while that was going on, here King Barishta, he was a nice, wonderful king, but he was more into kind of karma kanda. That means performing all these great yajnas, and then and whatever benefits comes in that, you enjoy those benefits like that. That was a kind of, it's all in initial stage of devotional service in one way, if you see. There are different steps, right, or different stages, not specifically that you need to follow one after the other. But some people are more interested in karma kanda, some people are interested in jnana kanda. Not that one should follow karma kanda, then come to jnana kanda, or then like this. It's not finally come to bhakti yoga, not like that. But by and large, generally, if nobody is getting the spiritual knowledge with the mercy of wonderful pure devotees of the Lord, by and large population, the different living entities have this path, which over many, many years they perform karma kanda, then they get some consciousness upgradation, and in some, maybe after so many thousands of lives, they come to bhakti yoga like that. But if you have the mercy of some wonderful pure devotee of the Lord, they come in contact with them, immediate transformation. So the soul's consciousness is quickly upgraded. We say, like just like the lift, you don't have to come step by step. You are suddenly elevated to the highest floor, which is the bhakti yoga. And bhakti yoga is not dependent on any of these things, that one should follow these steps to come to that point. But all these steps still require bhakti. So, but all these are dependent on bhakti, but bhakti yoga is not dependent on any of these steps. That Prabhupada has clarified many places, and it's very clear. So that is important. So this Barishta, even though he was in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj, he was more inclined towards this karma kanda activities, and he was performing this yajna and all that. His full name is Prachina Barhishat. Prachina Barhishat. So that's what Prabhupada is writing. King Prachina Barhishat was too much engaged in fruitive activities due to performing different types of yajnas. And what is the benefit of this kind of yajnas? One can actually be promoted to the higher planetary system or to the heavenly kingdoms by performing various yajnas. But there is no question of liberation or going back home, back to Godhead. This is very clear. So by performing all these yajnas, many people think, they will go back to Godhead. That's not possible. You can go to higher planetary system, enjoy wonderful, opulent life, which we can't even imagine in maybe in an earthly planet. But as you go up, the kind of opulence, the lifespan, all that is, sitting here we can consider that as the final spiritual world. But that is nothing compared to the real spiritual world. That is like 1 trillion times higher in the real spiritual world. The benefits are trillion times higher, immeasurable. But this one is itself so big, going to sometime I remember there was one time I think Prabhupada gave elaborate descriptions of this higher planetary system. Then some devotee read it and he was over impressed with that and all that. Then when Prabhupada came to know, then he said, no, this is not good. Then he sort of discarded those portions to describe all this, because people will get more attracted to that and leave Krishna consciousness. So I have heard this somewhere. So like that. So it's really mystical, those kind of places to be there. We are already, even in material planet, we are so much overawed with all these what do you call pleasures. Think about spiritual, these higher planetary system. And spiritual world, you can't even think. It is trillions of times higher than that. So in this situation, this gentleman is doing such yajnas and all karma kanda activities. And Narada Muni, somehow this family is so much blessed. You can't imagine, maybe because of the Dhruva Maharaj's blessing, that coming in Dhruva Maharaj lineage, how can the devotees not get mercy? So there here Lord Shiva is showing mercy on these boys, and Narada Muni himself is showing mercy to this Prachina Bharshita, and therefore he is coming here. Narada took compassion upon him and personally came to instruct him about the ultimate benefit of life, Bhakti Yoga. How Narada Muni indirectly instructed the Bhakti Yoga system to King Prachina Bharshit is very interestingly described in the 25th chapter. So this is the context of what we are going to be discussing today. So the next one. After the Pracheta princess simply stood in the water for 10,000 years and recited the prayers given to them by Lord Shiva. Oh, sorry, not after. All the Pracheta princess simply stood in the water for 10,000 years and recited the prayers given to them by Lord Shiva. So here, after meeting Lord Shiva, the sons are inflicted with bhakti. So they are just standing there and performing austerities in that water itself for 10,000 years, it's mentioned. And Prabhupada is writing, it's not difficult. If we have to stand in water for some time, we will get cold, all the other problems will develop. But Prabhupada is writing, all this actually can be done. You need to make certain adjustments, like how Prabhupada is giving example. Some bodies live in the water from birth to death. They take birth in water only, they die in water only. How are those bodies able to manage? So there are some ways of doing it, and particularly this is Satya Yuga, and there people live for 1 lakh years. Out of that, 10,000 years is like 10% of their life, and they did this. And if you do austerities like that for some portion of your life, Prabhupada is saying, one can easily go back to Godhead. Out of so many years, if one could spare 10,000 years for the sake of austerity, he would be assured of success in his future life. This was not very astonishing. Although such a feat is impossible in this age, it was quite possible in Satya Yuga. This is what Prabhupada is saying. We'll see the next one. While the princes were undergoing severe austerities in the water, their father was performing different types of fruitive activities. At this time, the great saint Narada, master and teacher of all spiritual life, became very compassionate upon the king and decided to instruct him about spiritual life. So, Prabhupada is actually highlighting this thing. So, if you are performing all these things, and even if you go up to the Brahma Jyoti, how useless it is, that Prabhupada is writing. So, he is saying, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, he is talking about this merging into the Brahman effulgence. And he is saying that this merging into the Brahman effulgence is like going into hell. Just imagine, I just talked about all these Brahman effulgence, and below that even the higher spirit, the higher opulent planetary systems, the so-called Swarga and all that. But this is even higher, this Brahman effulgence. But he is describing it as it's like going to heaven, going to hell. And he is saying, he similarly stated that elevation to the upper planetary system for the enjoyment of heavenly life is just so much Phantasmagoria. Prabhupada uses this word, Phantasmagoria. Nobody understands what this Phantasmagoria. So Prabhupada himself writes, this means that a devotee does not give any importance to the ultimate goal of the karmis and jnanis. So I don't know, sometimes some people, if you were to go and Google this Phantasmagoria or try to find a dictionary word, you will not find it. This is Prabhupada's invention. So, and Prabhupada explains, this means that a devotee does not give any importance to the ultimate goal of the karmis and jnanis. The ultimate goal of this karmis is promotion to the heavenly kingdom, and the ultimate goal of the jnanis is merging into the Brahman effulgence. Of course, the jnanis are superiors to the karmis. So, karmis, then jnanis. What is the objective? These two are two different objectives. Karmis, desire is to go to higher planetary system. Jnanis, desire is to merge with the Brahman effulgence. So, the higher planetary systems are below that Brahman. So, jnanis are even much more higher because their goal is this Brahman effulgence. And Prabhupada is quoting in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya saying, one jnani or impersonalist is better than many thousands of fruitive actors. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 19.147. But a devotee never enters upon the path of karma or elevation by fruitive activities. So this person, Parishta, is into this one, so Narada Muni is taking compassion for him. Oh, why is he wasting his life like that? Prabhupada writing, in comparison to mundane workers, that means those who are not even taking up any karma kanda activity, simply only sense gratification, not karma kanda relates to performing yajnas and all that. But here, simple animalistic life is what is mentioned as mundane workers. So when comparing mundane workers and karma kanda, those who are trying to be elevated to higher planetary system by performing yajnas are undoubtedly superior. In pure devotional service, however, both karma and jnana are considered bewildering features of the illusory energy. So these two actually bewilder us and take us away from the path of devotional service. So we need to be careful. Sometimes even as devotees, we get attracted to these things. Some of this karma kanda, this jnana kanda. Somehow we see, oh, this is nice, this going into this kind of mental speculation, going deeper into the study of something, which is very, very fascinating sometimes. So these devotees who have got intellectual abilities, they go into these spheres. And then this is a kind of an illusionary energy which is pulling them away from bhakti. So we need to be careful. I have seen many people, oh, Prabhupada has written basics, we should explore more deeper. Can you read what Prabhupada has written in your lifetime? Forget about going deeper. But they ignore. Some people have even said, oh, you are all giving very basics. As if I have understood all the basics. And Prabhupada has not simply given basics. Only if we read, we will understand. No? If you don't read, yes, there is always this, Prabhupada always gives the whole concept in one verse. So always the soul comes into play, always, all this comes into play. But they are not able to fully understand the purport, and therefore they are only seeing these words of the soul, and you are not the body, you are supposed to be doing devotional service. Then they think, oh, only the basics is given, because we don't have the ability to go deeper into what Prabhupada has written. And they blame Prabhupada for that, and then they go searching for something beyond what Prabhupada has given. But it's very unfortunate, but it is fact of the life, because these are ways in which illusory energy takes away people. What we can do, right? The next, Narada Muni asking Prachina Barhisat, my dear king, what do you desire to achieve by performing these fruitive activities? The chief aim of life is to get rid of all miseries and enjoy happiness. But those two things cannot be realized by fruitive activities. So he is giving directly a punch. What is the use of whatever you are doing? These things does not make any sense. They are all useless. So Prabhupada is writing, actually pure happiness cannot be had within this material world. If we wish to enjoy something, we must suffer for something else. This is the law of nature. If you want to get something, you have to lose something, right? You can see many people want to become very rich. They work so hard, they lose the other important things of family life, relationship with people, nice, even eating properly, night sleep. People lose all these things, and ultimately, they may sometimes become rich, but most of the time, by the time they become rich, they have already lost their health. There are practical examples like this. And one fellow told, one very rich man, in recent times, he was master of the stock market. So he made, I don't know, millions and millions of rupees. But he had to die in a relatively young age, maybe in his 60s or something, or even before that. And he had said, I made the biggest mistake of my life, that I did not take care of my health. I should have invested in my health rather than in the stock market. So this is a famous personality like this. So you have to give up something to get something in material world. And even if you have assumed some of these people, no sir, I am okay, I am living till 80, all my life I have lived comfortably, everything was so beautiful. I didn't have any distress at all in my life. Some people are blessed like that. You can't be envious. It is their purva karma. But even then, we have to suffer the miseries of birth, old age, disease and death. This is Prabhupada's words. We may discover many fine medicines, but it is not possible to stop the suffering of disease or death. So this is the purport for Narada Muni's question. Why are you wasting your time in this karma kanda? Yes, they may look like you are getting something, but it is of no real benefit at the end of the, if you see it from whole life perspective and beyond, this has got very limited effect. So this is, and therefore he is saying, Prabhupada is quoting, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yovetya tattvataha. For that he is saying, thus after attaining full Krishna consciousness, the devotee does not return to this material world after death. He goes back home, back to Godhead. That is the perfect stage of happiness, unblemished by any trace of distress. Vaikunta, place where there is no distress. So this is being the purport for the fourth verse. The next one. The king replied, O great soul, Narada, my intelligence is entangled in fruitive activities. Therefore, I do not know the ultimate goal of life. Kindly instruct me in pure knowledge so that I can get out of the entanglement of fruitive activities. So here you see how the mood of that king there. He is not simply negating what Narada Muni is saying. So generally, we all, if I am doing something and someone tells me, no boss, this is not okay, I try to defend myself. I try to give 100 reasons why what I am doing is the correct one. No? If you think every time we are very defensive, we immediately say, no, I understand, but this is why I am doing this. So I want to continue doing what I want to do. But here this king at least has that mood to say, yes, Narada Muni, what you are saying seems to be correct, but I am so much conditioned in this kind of fruitive activities. I don't know how I can save myself away from these activities. I don't understand what is the... Not that he doesn't understand. He has heard these things, but he is not able to practically apply that. That is why we say, no, we have all read so many times Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, fine. But have we fully realized that? Then it is the same situation. Yes, I know, but I don't know. I know means theoretical, but I really know means realized knowledge. Prabhupada writes, realized knowledge means I am able to understand the purport and therefore I am able to apply it in my real life. So that is really what you call the practical application of the knowledge. Otherwise it is theoretical knowledge. So here the king, it's not like he doesn't know, otherwise why is he doing even this karma kanda activities? He can simply live like an animal, eating, mating, sleeping. But he wants to do that as a sacrifice in a sense, karma kanda, when you say yajnas and all that. But he is not able to perfectly understand and even go further from there. That's this problem. So he is accepting that, yes, I have this problem, but you can instruct me because you are such a great personality. So Prabhupada is writing about this karma bandha pansha. That means this entanglement in this karmic activities which leads us to getting more and more and more bodies. Whether you are engaged in pious activities or impious activities. So this, when you say karma kanda, these yajnas, they are pious activities. But still, that doesn't mean it's going to help us avoid birth, death, old age and disease. So it doesn't matter. For both are causes for further entanglement in material bodies. That means pious and impious activities. So the entire concept of, if you do pious activity, you take birth in rich family, all that is described. That's all part of Bhagavad Gita discussion. I will go further because we have almost, I think, 30 plus verses to cover. So here Prabhupada is writing, so Prachina Barhisat. He is now coming to the stage of Atato Brahma Jigyasa. This is actually the stage of knowledge indicated in the first verse of Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. When one actually reaches the platform of frustration in an attempt to discharge karma bandha pansha, he inquires about the real value of life, which is called Brahma Jigyasa. So here he is asking this question to Narada Muni, and therefore he has come to this basic platform. And that is important. Prabhupada is quoting Mundaka Upanishad 11.2.12. Tat Vijnanartham sa Gurum Evabi Gachate. In order to understand the transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. This is the beginning. Atato Brahma Jigyasa means inquire about the self not by speculation. You approach a bona fide spiritual master. Here Prachina Barhisat, he actually approached Narada Muni and asked this question. Next verse. Those who are interested only in so-called dutiful life, namely remaining as a householder, entangled by sons and a wife, and searching after wealth, thinking that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout this material existence without finding the ultimate goal of life. So simply put, but very difficult. No? How can one, the so-called householder, be detached from all these, the relationships around him, the wife, the children, the wealth, the home, the cousins, the aunties and the uncles, and you can keep on expanding that. There's no end to this, and then to that particular neighborhood. Then you extend it to your your state, then your country, then to humanity. There's no end to this. Everything is actually putting a deeper knot in our heart. So this is Prahalad Maharaj has likened these pseudo-occupational duties to a dark well, Andakupam. Prahalad has purposefully spoken of this dark well because if one falls into this well, he will die. He may cry for help, but no one will hear him or come to rescue him. Sometimes when we hear these things, we feel it becomes frightening. We say, oh no, all this is not required. No. It's not like, to get pessimistic about these things. It is all a question of how you are able to transform these things into devotion. That's all. That doesn't mean, don't have to have wife or children or home or neighbors. No. Everything remains in material world. Nothing changes. But how your consciousness is shifted to a different plane, that is the knack of devotional service. If we are able to perform devotional service, engaging all these people, the children, the wife, the home can also be engaged. Right? Do nice kirtan in your home, get your friends and neighbors, involve everyone, whomever you love so much, involve everyone, give them nice prasadam. Then that attachment is not material attachment. That attachment is for Krishna and extended to all these people to give love of Krishna. That way, this is purified. See, we say all these things, desires always exist. There is nothing called oh, I can be desireless. No, not possible. This desire is part of the package in material world. Now the question is, currently the desire is contaminated. How can I purify that desire? That's all. So when you attach that desire to Krishna, then it gets purified. So everything continues, but just that the way we see the whole thing is completely different now. And it naturally gets us more and more attached and detached in one sense. But that detachment does not mean, I disown my family. No, you own your family, but you don't think that that body is actually what I am actually bothering about. It is the soul within it. And why? Because that is part and parcel of Krishna. And I am actually, relating to that soul as my coexisting soul in relation to Krishna. Therefore, there's nothing to detach in that sense. Detach from material consciousness and attach to Krishna consciousness. That's all. And everything can be seen from a Krishna conscious perspective. So this is Prabhupada's very beautiful way of making even a most fallen soul to actually transform his life from material existence to spiritual existence. Now next. The great saint Narada said, O ruler of the citizens, my dear king, please see in the sky those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in the sacrificial arena. What is this? O ruler of the citizens, my dear king, please see in the sky please see in the sky those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in the sacrificial arena. Oh, we have always heard, no? If you sacrifice animals in the sacrificial arena, then they get a higher conscious body. So it is allowed. So why is Narada Muni saying this? Right? This question should immediately come to our mind. So is it wrong to sacrifice animals in the sacrificial arena? So there, Narada Muni, then it's not like Narada Muni doesn't know what he's talking. So he is actually showing those animals there, who whatever it is sacrificed, and they are waiting eagerly for what? That he will tell in the next verse. We will see that. But he is telling, at least here, see these animals whom a lot of them you have killed, they are there in the sky. They have not got a new form like what you are. Generally we believe, that it should be, they should get a new body and they should progress in devotional life like that. But in this case, Narada Muni is indicating. So there it is continuing. All these animals are waiting your death so that they can avenge the injuries you have inflicted upon them. After you die, they will angrily pierce your body with iron horns. So this is Narada Muni's prediction in a way that, if you continue this way, this is going to happen to you. These animals are waiting for you. So now how do we understand this aspect of it? So Prabhupada is saying, yeah, it is there. Like, if you perform these sacrifices, it should be done in the most perfect way. There should be the perfect Brahmana who should be performing this for us, and we should follow all the prescribed rules without any deviation. When you do everything perfectly, then that sacrifice actually makes that animal which was sacrificed get a higher consciousness, and the performer of that sacrifice get the benefit of that yajna. Whatever material benefit, higher planetary system, whatever it is, they get it. But then this is fraught with lot of risks. Because what is the guarantee that you don't misspell something? This is always possible, no? Like in a lab, we do so many times experiments. But the results are always not exactly the same result. They will say the error allowed is 0.005%. They will say the result, if you get an answer to that lab result, they will say the error can go 5% this side, that 5% that side. Which means there is a possibility that you could perform an error, and the toleration is 5%, they say. Beyond 5%, then your experiment is done wrongly done, you do it again. So the same thing applies here also. You are performing a yajna, but what is the guarantee it is perfectly done? If you have not done perfectly, the result is wrong, which means the animal has already died and it has not got a higher consciousness. What happens? Then it is literally murdering an animal, and therefore you have to go through the consequences of suffering the reactions of your murder. So that's why Prabhupada is saying, so these yajnas and all, even though it is given, it is not recommended, it becomes a sinful activity. Don't ever get into all these things. Narada Muni wanted to convince the king that overindulgence in animal sacrifice is risky, because as soon as there is a small discrepancy in the execution of such a sacrifice, the slaughtered animal may not be promoted to human form of life. Consequently, the person performing sacrifice will be responsible for the death of the animal, just as much as a murderer is responsible for killing another man. So this is important. Then, in this connection, I wish to narrate an old history connected with the character of a king called Puranjana. Please try to hear me with great attention. So Narada Muni is saying, okay, so now you have asked me to instruct me, and I am now going to instruct you by giving an example of a king called Puranjana. With that example, you will be able to understand this life. So now this looks very mysterious. If you see this guy, his story that he is going to tell of Puranjana, very mysterious this story. When it's nicely, Prabhupada nicely writes, so much he has written actually, we should read it off the eye. This is only a summary class. I recommend everyone read through all these purports, it's very nice. So who is this Puranjana? So he is talking about a king called Puranjana, who lived once upon a time, like that he is giving an example. So who is this Puranjana? So actually there is nobody called Puranjana. We will know this as we go in. This Puranjana is nothing but this king himself. So he is actually not directly telling him you are doing this. He is saying someone, he is characterizing this as someone but telling whatever this king is doing. So see, sometimes when we preach, sometimes directly you should not preach. Because the minute you say, like we have so many times, right, if there's something wrong. Now, if I tell you have done this wrong, earlier I said no, you will immediately defend. But if I had to say the same thing done by another person, this person will agree, yes, I think he should not have done that. But if I told you that person is actually you, then I will become, oh. So Narada Muni is tricking him here, not telling him directly this is you, but saying an imaginary character and telling whatever this guy is doing, this same king is doing, Prachina Barhisat, he is doing, but in another name, in the name of Puranjana, he is telling him that. We'll go to the next one. Puranjana means, then why did he take this name Puranjana? Why did he not take some other name, Ranjana or something like that? He took Puranjana because that Puranjana meaning is living within the body. That means basically it is a living entity which is living inside the body. That means another soul, like literally a soul. And this soul he is talking about is the same, Barhisat. We will see the next one. My dear king, once in the past lived a king named Puranjana who was celebrated for his great activities. He has a friend named Avignatha, the unknown one. See, this is also a fictitious character. Avignatha, the unknown one. No one could understand the activities of Avignatha. So, nobody can understand this person Avignatha. So, he is giving that name, the unknown one. So his friend, this Puranjana's friend was Avignatha. Prabhupada is writing, every living entity is Purajana, that means this particular character is talking about Purajana. The word Puram means within this body, within this form, and Jana means living entity. So Puranjana. Puranjana means one who is living within this body. That equates to each one of us also. In this case, it equates to the king Prachina Barhisat. So thus everyone is Puranjana. So that is explained here. And we will, as we go further into this, we will understand who is this Abhignata and all that. This unknown person. Who is the friend of this Puranjana, that we will see as we go in deeper. So Prabhupada is giving a lot of this thing about the soul and the nature of the soul. All these things he is quoting. That we will skip. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam papavanaccha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge and forgiveness. So he is talking about how that soul is transmigrating from one body into another. All those things are there in this verse. We will right now go further. King Puranjana began to search for a suitable place to live, and thus he travelled all over the world. Even after a great deal of travelling, he could not find a place just to his liking. Finally, he became morose and disappointed. So, where is he travelling? So this is basically about all of or in this case, King Prachina Barhisat. We can always replace him with us also. That we are in this material world all the time searching for some happiness, We are looking everywhere. Oh, I went to this restaurant today. How many reviews I saw? Oh, they said good. 2 people said no, not good. Oh, this is not best. Let me skip to another restaurant. Oh, all has 4.9 rating. Let's go there. But you go there, are you perfectly satisfied? Then you will always go there. Next day you look for, next week you look for one more restaurant. Yeah, that's okay. But let's try this one today. Why? Because I am not satisfied beyond a point. So this travel, searching for the perfect happiness in our life, one keeps on wandering from one place to another. This is what is explained here. To search for a suitable place to live, and he travelled all over the world. So we keep on transmigrating into this 8.4 million species of body, looking for that perfect place, perfect happiness, what I am supposed to get. I keep changing my senses so that I can experience this so much. Now if you want to smell so much, and I have this problem with my nose, better become a dog, because a dog can smell even better. So those who are so much the smellers, maybe they will get a body which can really smell better. Maybe a dog or there, maybe another animal which can be even smelling better. Maybe a shark. A shark can smell blood to a few kilometers away. This is scientific research. So yes, shark has a better nose possibly than even a dog. So this is going on. Okay, we will go long purport by Prabhupada, but this is what is writing. Therefore, you need to abandon this kind of a travel in different bodies to come to this point of getting satisfaction in material life. You will never get it. It's only a myth that we will get satisfaction. Therefore, he's saying you surrender yourself to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then you will actually get the real happiness. And he is giving many Bhagavad Gita verses to substantiate that. Brahma Bhavanal Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. From the highest planet in this material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death takes place. In the material world, a living entity is never satisfied. Even in the position of Brahma or in the position of Indra or Chandra, one is full of anxiety simply because he has accepted this material world as a place of happiness. Okay, we go further. King Puranjana had unlimited desire for sense enjoyment. Consequently, he traveled all over the world to find a place where all his desires could be fulfilled. Unfortunately, he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. Something, as I said in this example, everything is nice, but something was not nice. So I don't like, I will go to the next restaurant. So this is going on. Next verse. Once while wandering in this way, he saw on the southern side of the Himalayas, in a place named Bharatavarsha, India, a city that had 9 gates all about and was characterized by all auspicious facilities. He finds in India, in the southern side of Himalayas, a city which has 9 gates and characterized by all auspicious facilities. You can make out, right? A city with 9 gates is nothing but a human body. And Bharatavarsha is a place where you have all the full knowledge in that sense. When a living entity takes birth in Bharatavarsha, is considered to be most fortunate. So Prabhupada is coming to quote Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bharata bhumite haile manushya janma yara janma sartakata kari karo para upakara. Thus, whoever takes birth in the land of Bharatavarsha attains all the facilities of life. He may take advantage of all these facilities for both material and spiritual advancement and thus make his life successful. So this place, so he is coming to this place where is taking a human body. Then what happens? That city was surrounded by walls and parks, and within it were towers, canals, windows and outlets. The houses there were decorated with domes made of gold, silver and iron. So this 9-gate city, basically the body, was surrounded by walls and parks, and within it were towers, canals, windows and outlets. The houses there were decorated with domes made of gold, silver and iron. So now you equate all these things to the body. The walls are the skin that we have. The parks are where the different hairstyles are there, no? Different body parts, different hair is there. It will look like park. So people make nice haircuts, eyebrows, this, that, everything so nicely. So from that perspective, it is all like a park where nice plants grow there. And then there are these towers, you can see a nice shoulder, the nose, all these things are like some people have very nice workout in the gym and, the arms nicely shaped, it nicely goes like a tower and, all these things, nose, very beautiful nose. And windows, Prabhupada writes, windows is equated to the eyes through which you can see the outside world. And outlets, the 9 gates are there. And decorated with the domes made of gold, silver and iron. And this gold, silver and iron is what all the desires that people have within their heart. That's how Prabhupada is writing. Three modes of material nature. The 3 types of metal, gold, silver and iron, represent the 3 modes of material nature. Gold represents goodness, silver passion and iron ignorance. The body is also sometimes considered to be a bag containing 3 elements, 3 dhatu, mucus, bile and air, kapha, pitta and vayu. According to Bhagavad Gita, one who considers this bag of mucus, bile and air to be the self is considered no better than a cow or an ass. Gokaraha. Okay, next. The floor of the house is that in that city were made of sapphire. Okay, sorry, I mentioned this iron gold. That actually this is what I should have said. That was actually the 3 gunas, but this is the thing. The floor of the house in that city were made of sapphire, crystal, diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and rubies. Because of the lustre of the houses in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town named Bhogavati. See, so everything is actually not exactly that, but represents something else. So, in the city of the body, the heart is considered to be the capital, just as the capital of a state is especially gorgeous, filled with various high buildings and luxurious palaces. The heart of the body is filled with various desires. This is what I was telling. Instead of the sapphires and all, I mentioned this gold, iron, and all that. So, this is actually the truth. The sapphire, diamond, all these are basically the various desires that we have in our heart for material enjoyment. Such plants are sometimes compared to valuable jewels such as the sapphire, rubies, pearls, and emeralds. The heart becomes the center of all planning and material enjoyment. Next. In that city, there was many assembly houses, street crossings, streets, restaurants, gambling houses, markets, resting places, flags, festoons, and beautiful parks. All these surrounded the city. The heart of the body can be compared to the assembly house, for the living entity is within the heart along with the Paramatma, and thus the heart is the center of all remembrance, forgetfulness, and deliberation. Then, in the body, the eyes, ears, and nose are different places of attraction for sense enjoyment, and the streets for going hither and thither may be compared to different types of air blowing within the body. The yogic process for controlling the air within the body and the different nerves is called Shushumna, the path of liberation. The body is also a resting place because where the living entity becomes fatigued, he takes rest within the body. The palms and the soles of the feet are compared to flags and festoons. So everything has a synonymous. The flags here are the arms and feet, like that. On the outskirts of that city were many beautiful trees and creepers encircling a nice lake. Also surrounding that lake were many group of birds and bees that were always chanting and humming. Since the body is a great city, there must be various arrangements such as lakes and gardens for sense enjoyment. On the various parts of the body, those which incite sexual impulses are referred to here indirectly because the body has genitals. When the living entity attains the right age, he be man or woman, he becomes agitated by the sex impulse. As long as one remains a child, he is not agitated by seeing a beautiful woman. Although the sense organs are present, unless the age is right, there is no sex impulse. So like this, see all these things mentioned, no? These parks and things like that, they all are environment which creates that agitation within the body to go and enjoy. That's how it is put here. And Prabhupada talks about this aspect very, relating that more towards the highest of the sense gratification within the human body is this desire for sex life. So that's been elaborated here. The branches of the tree standing on the bank of the lake received particles of water carried by the spring air from the falls coming down from icy mountains. These are all the various water particles and lake and all these things are considered the different rasas that we have. And again the melos, humor, rasa or melos. And again Prabhupada is talking about the supreme melo is actually the Adi rasa, which is basically the sexual melo. When this Adi rasa or sex desire comes in contact with the spring air moved by Cupid, it becomes agitated. In other words, all these are representations of Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Shabda and Sparsha. The wind is Sparsha or touch, the waterfall is Rasa or taste, the spring air, Kusuma Kara is smell. All these varieties of enjoyment make life very pleasing and thus we become captivated by material existence. Okay, we will go to the next one. In such an atmosphere, even the animal of the forest become non-violent and non-envious like great sages. Consequently, the animals did not attack anyone. Over and above everything was the cooing of the cuckoos. Any passenger passing along that path was invited by that atmosphere to take rest in that nice garden. So here the animals become non-violent is Prabhupada is actually equating that, the children and all they have in a very nice family, everything is so nice, the children all become very happy and they are very non-violent because everything is provided, people become very happy. That is what he is talking about. And it's talking about all these, in a karmic thing, if you really see the wife, children and all, Prabhupada sometimes example. This is in a karmic side, not in a devotional family. Because the devotional family, when the wife takes money, it is also for serving Krishna. But here he is saying the wife is also a thief. That means but when the wife takes from the packet, he works so hard, the man, very hard, he works, very, very hard work he puts in and makes some money. And then the wife nicely smiles and puts her hands inside the packet, picks up this money, goes to the whatever, the parlor and this and that and all that and spends a lot of money. And the man is so happy. But while coming on the bus, if someone pickpockets, he gets angry. So Prabhupada sometimes compares, that there's no difference between that pickpocket and this wife. Both are actually looting your money. You are working hard like an ass and they are taking that money and going away. But you are happy when the wife does it, but when the pickpocketer does it, you get angry. But this is all because of our illusion. Because I am talking about those devoid of any spiritual consciousness. That kind of family life, yes, that is true. No, I work so hard and someone takes away the money. But I may like it is a different story, but it is my own foolishness beyond a point. Next, while wandering here and there in that wonderful garden, King Puranjana suddenly came in contact with a very beautiful woman who was walking there without any engagement. She had 10 servants with her, and each servant had hundreds of wives accompanying him. What is this? Suddenly one lady comes wandering here and there, occupied by tens of servants, and each one of them having many wives. All looks very exotic, right? The body has already been compared to a beautiful garden. During youth, the sex impulse is awakened and the intelligence, according to one's imagination, is prone to contact the opposite sex. In youth, a man or woman is in search of the opposite sex by intelligence or imagination, if not directly. These are all very important things, isn't it? By intelligence or imagination, if not directly. Because we live in this mental frame, right? Everybody looks like a gentleman. But these things go on in the mind. Oh, this is so beautiful, that is so beautiful. Externally they may, but this impulse is very strong, very, very difficult to overcome. The intelligence influences the mind. The mind controls the 10 senses. 5 of these senses gather knowledge and 5 work directly. Each sense has many desires to be fulfilled. This is the position of the body and the owner of the body, Puranjana, who is within the body. So these 10 servants are equated to the these 5 senses and the objects of these senses. And that many wives are representing the various other desires which are coming for these senses. Like, the nose wants to smell this flower, that food, this food. So there are thousands of desires for the nose, thousands of desires for the hand, thousands of desires for the mind, like this. So all of these things attract thousands of other activities. That is what is mentioned here. And this women is considered that, that attraction which is happening, and particularly here that sex impulse is what he's talking about. The woman who was protected on all sides by a 5-hooded snake. She was very beautiful and young, and she appeared very anxious to find a suitable husband. See, what are the snakes? The vital forces of a living entity includes the 5 kinds of air working within the body, which are known as prana, apana, vyana, samana, udana. The vital forces is compared to a serpent because a serpent can live by simply drinking air. The vital force carried by the air is described as pratihara, or the bodyguard. Without the vital force, one cannot live for a moment. Indeed, all the senses are working under the protection of the vital forces. So that snake represents the 5 air surrounding the human body. Inside the heart, where surrounding the soul actually. That the soul is actually kept inside the heart, and it is said that soul is surrounded by these 5 airs. That is why when we do all this pranayama, all these things, they are supposed to purify that air which is surrounding the soul, so that that environment becomes purified, so that the soul can focus on devotional life. The woman who represent intelligence was searching after a husband. This indicates that intelligence cannot act without consciousness. A beautiful woman is useless unless protected by the proper husband. Intelligence must always be afresh and be very fresh. Therefore, the word aprudam, very young, is used here. Next. The woman's nose, teeth and forehead were all very beautiful. Her ears were equally very beautiful and were bedecked with dazzling earrings. So here this teeth and all that is equated to the beautiful nose indicates the organ for acquiring knowledge by smell. Similarly, the mouth is the instrument for acquiring knowledge by taste. For by chewing an object and touching it with the tongue, we can understand its taste. And the nice forehead is mentioned, indicates a clear brain capable of understanding things as they are. So, these are the various descriptions. Next. The waist and hips of the women were very beautiful. She was dressed in a yellow sari with a golden belt. While she walked, her ankle bells rang. She appeared exactly like a denizen of the heavens. This verse expresses the joyfulness of the mind upon seeing a woman with raised hips and breasts, dressed in an attractive sari and bedecked with ornaments. With the end of her sari, the woman was trying to cover her breasts, which were equally round and well placed side by side. She again and again tried to cover them out of shyness while she walked exactly like a great elephant. Here, the Prabhupada writes, their 2 breasts represent attachment and envy. The symptoms of raga and dvesha, attachment and envy, are described in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is writing, attractions and repulsions for sense objects are felt by the embodied beings, but one should not fall under the control of senses and sense object because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. So he is quoting Yamunacharya's verse. He is saying, since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. This is Yamunacharya's mind. So that means if you are able to get attraction for Krishna, the highest of sense gratification, which is sex life, actually becomes repulsive. This is practically possible if one is able to come to this platform of pure devotional service. And the word that where she is trying to cover with her dress, her breasts, that is indicated as that even if one is tainted by kama, lobha, krodha, etc., they can be transfigured by Krishna consciousness. In other words, one can utilize kama, lust, for serving Krishna. Being impelled by lust, an ordinary worker will work hard day and night. Similarly, a devotee can work hard day and night to satisfy Krishna. This is what I was saying. Your desires never stop, but engage all your desires in Krishna's service. You are still working, you are still doing whatever you are doing, but transfer that to Krishna consciousness. So, by that way, we are purifying our consciousness. How everything, even krodha, like anger, how can I make it Krishna conscious? Become a good administrator. No? Run the temple nicely. You can, these things can be done. Prabhupada is quoting the example of Anjaneya, right? In that anger, he burnt entire Lanka, but that anger was transferred into devotional service for Lord Rama. Therefore, it is pure devotion. It is not anger. That is the way we do it. Next. Puranjana, the hero, became attracted by the eyebrows and smiling face of the very beautiful girl and was immediately pierced by the arrows of her lusty desires. When she smiled shyly, she looked very beautiful to Puranjana. who, although a hero, could not refrain from addressing her. So how one falls for this material gratification, that has been explained. How we are all lured by different material objects, and how our illusion begins. We are dragged away from our search for self-realization. My dear lotus-eyed, kindly explain to me where you are coming from, who you are, and whose daughter you are. You appear very chaste. What is the purpose of your coming here? What are you trying to do? Please explain all these things to me. Actually, here Prabhupada is saying this kind of inquiry starting is actually Brahma Jignasa. So for that, Puranjana, he should actually do proper Brahma Jignasa. That's what he is writing here. Then, my dear lotus-eyed, who are these 11 strong bodyguards with you, and who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants, and who is the snake that is preceding you? So, that means we need to start self-inquiry. What is this prana, apana, all these things? What is this various objects, and what are the various working senses? All these things are there. The 5 elements. We start inquiring into this and trying to understand that I am different from the body. Next. My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in this forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I am asking you where you have thrown that lotus. So here, actually, if you see, people are searching after intelligence. That means Brahma or his wife, right? Saraswati is the one who gives knowledge. Similarly, if one is looking for someone who employs his intelligence in the worship of Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, in order to obtain a beautiful wife. So effectively, we are looking for all these benefits through these various energies of the Lord, which in a way we call them Mother Parvati, Mother Saraswati, and Mother Lakshmi. Basically, if you want money, if you want nice wife, if you want knowledge, you go to this. And you can take other examples also relating to this. And we go to these various demigods. And that is what is mentioned, that he is thinking, oh, are you like this, are you like this, are you like this? But because that mood is, I want gratification. And for that, where should I go? That kind of equation has been discussed here. Next verse. O great fortunate one, it appears that you are none of the women I have mentioned, because I see that your feet are touching the ground. But if you are some women of this planet, you can, like the goddess of fortune, who accompanied by Lord Vishnu increases the beauty of the Vaikuntha planets, also increase the beauty of this city by associating with me. You should understand that I am a great hero and a very powerful king of this planet. So now he's coming to this point of, I realize you are none of them because your feet is touching to the ground. Therefore, you are an ordinary mortal like me. But you are very beautiful, and I am a very qualified man. I am a very powerful person. Why don't you actually marry me? This is his proposal. So how people get entangled and actually fall a trap to this beautiful girl. In this case, this Puranjana, this soul is getting attracted and falling for this particular illusion. That means into this body and the related activities around the body, how he is getting caught up in that is being discussed here. Finally, the last verse for the day, 30th verse. Certainly, your glancing upon me today has very much agitated my mind. Your smile, which is full of shyness but at the same time lusty, is agitating the most powerful Cupid within me. Therefore, O most beautiful, I ask you to be merciful upon me. So, this is how the surrender takes place for the soul to this material energy. Slowly, 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 we are overwhelmed with the attractions around the material world, and our consciousness is deeply pulled into it, and the Atma surrenders to this material consciousness. So Prabhupada writes, thus living entity live in bondage to one another, and thus they continue this conditioned material life illusioned by Maya. That is how he finishes this verse. So this will continue into the next verse. I'm sorry, I could not explain it very nicely like how Prabhupada, and he has written long purport for every verse. So if I have to summarize everything, I had to give only the top pointers within that. So I end here. If there are any questions, comments, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, sorry, I think I just missed. What did you tell Prabhu? Like, aapne bola karma, like when you're doing yagnas, you go to the higher planets, may or may not, but Yagyani goes to the Brahma effulgence, right? Which of the one is better?
Karma Kanda, you can go up to this Brahma Jyoti, not Brahma Jyoti, up to the high planetaries, heaven.
Heaven, yeah.
And beyond the Karma Kanda is the Jnana Kanda.
Is in the effulgence.
That means Jnana Kanda is trying to acquire knowledge. That means he is not more attracted to these material things. He is more attracted to liberation.
Okay.
And if you are wanting liberation, then you go higher up than this material, because if you are looking for Karma Kanda, you are looking for sense gratification. So that means you go up to the highest planetary system where sense gratification is there. But Jnana is, I want liberation, and liberation stage is Brahma Jyoti, where you are not getting this material body, but you are living in that Brahma Jyoti, floating in that air. But you are still not completely liberated in the way you really understand who you are in your original state of consciousness.
Prabhu, both the places you come back as a human being, right? Because if you sink, you go down to lower planetary system. So if you are in heaven or in the Brahma Jyoti, you become a human being and come down. That is the sure.
No, actually, the Brahma Jyoti, it takes more time. See, what happens is in the Swarga Loka, how much ever punya you have, you stay there and then you come back. In the Brahma Jyoti, the thing is like this. There it is so blissful that that soul is floating all the time. But the problem there is, a soul cannot simply be satisfied. There is always this thing about some relating to something else.
Yes, doing
some activity. So what happens is, over a period of time, he tends to fall down, is mentioned.
Yes, Prabhu. So Prabhu, like, see, when you're in heaven, like you're in the Brahma Loka. Now Indra was cursed, so he came down as a pig.
Yes.
So, but we don't like, suppose we are in heaven. Do we have we can come back as a lower animal, or it's usually 99% a human being?
No, so see, the thing is like this. In my life, I do so many activities, right? There is a time in my life when I have suddenly done such a great activity, and there are times in my life where I have done such a very nasty activity. Now, when I do a great activity, the result of that, when I have to experience that result, I may go to the heaven.
Yes.
But there is the other time where I had done such a nasty activity for which I have to become a pig.
Okay.
So after that, not necessarily I need to come back as a human being. I can come back as a pig.
Yes, thanks. So it's like how much of money you have, that's sort of a hotel you stay with.
Correct.
Yes.
After that, when you come, what other karma you have, you will experience that coming back into the material world.
Absolutely. Prabhu, एक question और पूछना था आपसे, ये doubt. Prabhupada ji like explains the woman's role many a times. Sometimes it was hitting in the beginning. Now, of course, we take it. We understand. In many places, he says, and he's talking Shastra, that the woman needs to be under the father, husband, son. Now, and many places, Prabhupada said the woman is like a Dracula. She's sucking blood. She's doing this. Here, he's mentioned it as a thief. Prabhu, when you are under somebody, you are naturally, like for food, water, you come as a human being or this thing, you're naturally going to leech on to that person, isn't it? Because he's a provider.
Correct.
And when the woman steps out to work, then as we see today, there is so many other problems coming, and the
Yes.
Shastra says that she shouldn't step out. Now, how do you explain this? How do you become a thief, Prabhu? It is something. तुम क्या करोगे?
Yes.
You have to leech on to him, no, Prabhu.
Yes. That is what it is. See, the thing is,
Now, how do you become a thief? How do you become a bloodsucker? See,
yeah.
now you are a subject of sex. This thing, it is the
Yes.
nature has made you something like that.
Yes.
And then you have desires.
Yes.
I mean, even if you're a Krishna conscious person, Prabhu, the desires don't die.
Yes.
And you said something like when you see something beautiful, you do. Like even in one of the places when Prabhupada, like one of the devotee was looking at a foreign woman, Prabhupada said, "See how." I mean, he did not criticize. He said, "See how beautiful the God has made." Like,
Yes.
yeah, Prabhupada. Recently, I had gone abroad, and believe me, like the Europeans, all the ladies are almost 5'9", and the men are all 6'2", sharp features, beautiful, blonde.
Yes.
Even if you don't want it, I was turning around. I mean,
Yes.
I said, Krishna, maybe sometimes I did say, sometimes I did not. But how do you explain this? I mean, every time you hear this, women are thieves, women are sucking. So, I mean, many things Prabhupada says, but
Yes.
when you're
So
subordinate,
how you understand this
subordinate,
is,
you need to be, मैं तो
yeah.
कितनी दफा झगड़ा करके भी पैसे निकालती हूँ प्रभु,
Yes.
like चोरी. I don't
Mataji,
think I'm a
no.
thief.
Yeah, so actually we should not look at it as, oh, that's a negatively talked about women. It's not like that. So the point is, we are basically living entities. Now, when you are a living entity, the car that you are using is what is being discussed about. Like for example, if you are using a Maruti 800 or if you are using a Benz car, the fact is a Benz is better than a Maruti.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right. So it is not about the driver. The driver is the same. The question is he is sitting in a Maruti, he is sitting in a Benz car. That's the difference. Therefore, one should not take personally that you are not the body, so why I should be affected when a woman, I mean, you are not saying, but generally when the feeling comes, oh, I am women, so, no, you are not women, you are soul. Like, I'm not talking to you. Anyone who thinks, right, in a women is bad, why do they take offense? Because I am considering myself a body, but we are not the body. Similarly, a man is also nothing great, I'm telling you, because
No,
when
no.
I have to compare with the higher planet, you talked
No,
about, you yourself,
you're also a woman because he's only one Purusha Prakriti. We
that
all
is there.
Prakriti.
No, even otherwise, even let's not go there. You talked about when you see an American or an European, they look so very, very handsome, like they have made, like they have script, what do you call,
Chiseled, chiseled, yes.
chiseled. Now compare me with those guys, then I should feel inferior, right? Or I look at my.
No, we don't. It's okay, Prabhu. We don't.
No. Why I'm saying is, so this is all very relative.
Skin
This is
disease.
relative, but actually we are the Atma inside. So Prabhupada actually says, when he says all these things, the women get offended and they say, Prabhupada's disciple. They say, Prabhupada, what are you saying? They say, no, I am not talking about you. What he means is, when you have come to this platform of devotional service, you are not man, you are not women, you are not any other gender. You are simply a pure soul. So it does not apply to you and me in that sense if I am taking to Krishna consciousness seriously. But if I am in material consciousness, then there is this limitation. And there is one devotee nicely explained this once. One school girl asked this question, why is this in Shastras, women is being talked like this? Then he gave this example. See, there's a pilot. That pilot is going from his home to the airport. He's taking a car and going. And later, once he reaches the airport, he sits in that flight and he drives it. Then he asked this question, when he was in that car, how fast was he able to go? He said, okay, maybe 70 kilometers, 80 kilometers. Then after that, when he sat in that plane, how fast was he able to go? He was doing around 800, 900 miles per hour. So this is the same person, but why there's a difference? Because that car, that vehicle had a limitation. Like this, the women means body has a limitation. Certainly a woman is tender. I mean, you can't do a weightlifting or something like that. Therefore, the protection is required. So it's the body's nature is like that. We can't complain why that body, you can't say, okay, I will do heavy weightlifting and I will. But by nature, the women body is tender. That's a fact of the matter. And a man's body by nature is hard. And therefore, the protection is given naturally by that men to the women. So this is, but why to fight it and say, no, I don't need protection. I will myself become a very muscle builder or something like that. So that is working against the nature. So it's simply that the nature of these different bodies are there, but it is not about the person living inside the body. So we need not go deeply. If you are a devotee, you can just ignore that because I am not the body. Prabhupada has many times said that, told his men disciple, you follow your wife because she is a better devotee. Now what do you say for this? Here he is considering that Mataji better than this Prabhu. He says you follow your wife. But in Shastra they say wife should follow the husband. But when you are a devotee, your consciousness is important. If the wife has got a better consciousness, better the husband follows her because both will benefit. So that we need to see. But body has a limitation. That is a fact of the matter. You can't deny that beyond a point.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu, I'm not denying any of these things. I'm neither denying any of what Prabhupada says.
Yes.
The only thing what I said is, like, the women are always like, you're a thief, you're a Dracula, you're sucking blood.
No, you are not. No woman is a Dracula, no woman is a sucking.
हम लोगों को बनाया ऐसे गया है कि हम आदमियों के शेल्टर में रहते ही रहते हैं. So what can we do? No. I cannot do anything about it.
No, devotees, women, or anything.
Whether devotee or non-devotee, Prabhu.
No, even if non-devotee, Mataji, see that what he is saying is, the fact is, the man is actually taking some benefit from the woman, no? So he's basically paying for her. So it's not a sucking
anything
thing.
You can say anything, Prabhu. You can call it prostitution. You can call it marriage. You can call it illicit sex. You can call it anything. We are designed like that. Nature is designed like that. From an ant to a man, it is designed like that. So he has to provide. There is no other go.
Correct. But from a self-realization point of view, how the Atma gets attracted to this is what is being explained. Like, when I say it's a pickpocket, the fact is someone is taking money from you, right? But for one you take offense, other you don't take offense. That is all is being discussed. Right?
Okay.
No, so it's not to say...
I don't refute anything.
Yes.
But
another thing is, Prabhuji, what I want to sort of add on to this whole dialogue between both of you is, see, the it has become dominant in this world that this sort of sense enjoyment is taking over all other sense enjoyment, actually. I mean, you see everywhere. I mean, you see the films or you see any activity.
Yes.
It is predominant.
Yes.
There's no other thing more dominant than this, actually, if you ask me.
It is commoditized, Prabhu. Today, it is commoditized. So the way women are made as a commodity.
Exactly. That is
the problem.
Yes, that is the problem. Not that lady is the problem.
Yes.
We have made it as a commodity for our sense enjoyment. That's it, Mataji. It's not that, that Prabhupada has sort of condemned lady as a...
No, he has not condemned. He's shown you a very nice mirror. I'm sorry. I don't say it's condemned. Because women are responsible for what is in the society today, not the men. अगर आप अपने घर में रहोगे, दायरे में रहोगे, you can be very beautiful, you can be dressed up, but अपना दायरा, I have to understand where to draw my line. Nobody else can explain this to me.
Men means what to exploit. Men, the mindset is what to exploit.
Commodity to you.
Yes, exactly.
If I draw my line and I don't like, if I don't say I'm equal to a man, shoulder to shoulder. Yes, you can be shoulder to shoulder in certain places where you can voice your good and bad. But you can't be a commodity.
Yes.
एक लाज, एक शर्म जो प्रभुपाद जी बोलते हैं, जो हमारे दादा दानी नाना नानी रखते थे, you have to keep that curtain. It is very important. I'm not talking about a woman, this Prabhu, lesbian, this, that. We are not going to get into this. पहले भी होता होगा, there were women like this, but it was not so shamelessly done as it is done today. I'm sorry, we are getting off to another track. I hope.
No. So this is important. Actually, Prabhupada is actually saying, just like a man is seen, woman is seen dangerous to a man, from a spiritual perspective, a man is dangerous to a woman because you tend to get attracted and get into material consciousness. So that is a fact. And Prabhupada says, like, you should not be even with your daughter in a room alone. See, the point is, because the mind is so very agitated, you need to be careful. This is from a spiritual perspective. If you really look at it, oh, what are you talking here? It's my daughter, and why I will not be in a room? I don't even think like that, we may say. But we never know. The mind is so very fickle, anything can happen. Lord Brahma went after his daughter. You know this, right? That is how this thing was created. Mist is created. It is there in Bhagavatam. That he suddenly developed lust for his own creation of a daughter, and therefore then he had to commit suicide, and that is how he became, the mist came up. Before that there was no mist. So this mind is very, very, very capable of getting hijacked, and one needs to be very careful if you are serious in devotional life. That is the point which is being made, nothing else. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
Mother,
Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji, where do the yogis go? Like jnanis go to the impersonal, Brahman effulgence. Yogis who meditate on the Paramatma in the heart, they, aim for getting some mystic opulences like Anima, Lagima and all.
Yes.
But where do they actually go?
So that one should lead to devotion, because see, in the Paramatma, the what do you call, the Jnana stage, you do not have a conception of God. Therefore, you are sitting in the Brahma Jyoti, because there is no form in the Brahma Jyoti, it is impersonalism. But when you are looking at this yogis, they are supposed to meditate on the form of the Lord as Paramatma in their heart. So in course of time, a yogi should actually promote into the devotee, and he will go back to Godhead.
Become okay, yes. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry if I have gone off track. I'm really sorry, Prabhu.
No, Mataji. This
that's
is
okay.
these things are supposed to be discussed, not simply someone gives a class and goes away. Right? The idea is why you are spending 1.5 hours is to understand all these things and see how if there is some contradiction in our mind, or how do we understand this. This is very important, Mataji. Nothing is off track. In fact, if you read the purport, it was even more deeper. I kept it at a higher level actually. It is very nice that we discuss these things. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. See, actually, when we talk about all this Brahma Loka and all that, first of all, while we are traveling from one destination to another destination, the process of the journey is more important than the destination, actually.
Okay.
Isn't it? I mean, first we should undergo this journey. Then we can maybe talk about the destination.
See, Prabhu, it's like this. If I have to tell you, Prabhu, if you touch fire, right, it will burn you. Now, you can choose to say, yes, I take the wisdom, I don't want to go through this pain. But one may say, no, I want to experience by touching the fire and then do it. It's each one's call. But I would certainly say, if I am able to get that authority who really tells me that it pains when you touches this thing, I don't want to touch it. But another man may say, no, that is the experience of this journey, so let me feel it and go. So spiritual life is like that. We cannot experience everything and then go on. It is a very difficult process. But if I have trust in the authority and they say, this is a problem, don't do it, I may be better off than doing it.
Sure.
Materially, the fact is right. The journey may be like, when you are traveling nicely, you may experience that nice Mercedes car while going to Chennai, right? For example, you may say, I don't want to go into this unreserved train compartment. That is okay. But ultimately, you are going there for a purpose. And if you are able to focus on the purpose than on the method, it may be fine also, right?
Also, sure. Correct. Yeah, true. Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So Sri Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranams. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for joining. Thank you to Vidura Madhava Prabhu for a very enlightening class. So we'll stop here with Prabhu's permission.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.